Good morning and welcome to our Board of County Commissioners special meeting to approve our fiscal year 22-23 budget. If we do have a quorum, we have three of our commissioners in chambers and two of our commissioners online. So welcome to all of you. If you would join me in the Pledge of Allegiance and then a moment of silence afterward, appreciate that. I pledge allegiance to the flag.
I pledge allegiance.
And to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Oh. Good. Commissioners, we have one item on our agenda today, and that is the approval of our budget. We will have a public hearing before that. So I think we will start with Ms. Berry, if you can hit the highlights, what has changed since we talked on Tuesday, perhaps, I guess, and run us through it real quick, and then we'll have some discussion afterwards or questions for you if there are any.
Okay. So do you want me to go through all of the changes that have happened since we had the workshop on the 7th, or just the very most recent ones?
Just since Tuesday.
Okay. Since Tuesday. So I think the first one I did was I increased the ambulance. Castle Rock had their funding request form. On their funding request form, they had requested $700,000. And we have increased that. They are continuing to provide services only in Green River until they are ready to expand to the entire county. And so medics actually we didn't have anything in Sweetwater medics budget. They are the providers in Rock Springs for ambulance service. And so I changed it to extend medics for 6 months at their current monthly rate that we are paying them. So that was an increase of $700,793. So that will get us through the end of December. That's money to get us to the end of December. That contract is on a monthly basis. So if Castle Rock does take over for the whole county before that, that full amount will not be expended, and the remainder will go into cash carryover. I also did increase Castle Rock Hospital District 4 ambulance service. They had initially requested $700,000. I did increase that to 1.8 million according to the contract, but then I did change it to $1,195,000. That is 5 months at I believe it was 284,000 annual amount, prorated monthly, and then up to the $1.8 million contract, so $150,000 a month, starting December 1st through the end of June. So that was one change that we had since Tuesday. Another change that we had was I got a hold of Rick Hawkins yesterday to discuss the Combined Communications Joint Powers Board, and our share. Well, this was discussed in the meeting. The share was discussed in the meeting. The dollars were not. So our share previously was 25%, and that was the amount that they requested from Sweetwater County, was that 25%. I got a hold of Rick to ask if that was the 25% or the new 37.5%. And he said he said he wasn't aware that had been approved, and that was the 25%. So that went from $832,023.12 up to $1,248,034.68. I did get an email from their CPA yesterday afternoon, and he did say that he didn't know if that was going to be effective July 1st or not. They will figure that out next week. And so if that isn't effective until the second quarter, he didn't know if it was going to be effective starting July 1st or the second quarter. So we'll have a small cash carryover if that isn't effective until the second quarter.
Thank you. Can I ask Commissioner Lloyd, did the cities, I did not see Tuesday's meetings, did they approve the agreement as well and the new splits?
Green River did, but Rock Springs is not approving it till the next meeting.
Thank you. Sorry, Bonnie, go ahead.
Okay, and then we did have a few payroll changes. We had one that was, I believe, was not even taking health insurance, switched to family coverage. So that was an increase. We did have an employee approved to fill a new position in the IT department. So that increase went in there. What are my other ones? Oh, there was a water truck, a Freightliner that was hit by lightning that wasn't in there. This was approved way back when. It just didn't make it in the budget until Tuesday, I think, Tuesday afternoon was when I got that in there. And then
that was just because of timing issues we just couldn't get it by it yet.
Well, no one, yeah. Well, I think when it was approved, I thought it was going to, I thought they had it and it was going to come in that year. This year we're in right now. But apparently it was not supposed to come until next year and I didn't know, and I didn't put it in the budget. And Marty had just called me and asked if it was in there on Tuesday afternoon. And I said, I don't think so. So I added that in there.
Thank you.
And I did add, no, I added that before. I'm trying to remember what I added before Tuesday and after Tuesday. There are a couple outstanding POs that, the supply chain is just difficult right now. So we did add a few things for things that are on order that were supposed to come in that have not come in yet. And so we added those to the budget so they would, because they are going to come in and will be paid out of next fiscal year. Pretty minimal dollar amounts. The big ones were just the ambulance joint powers board, the combined communication joint powers board. Those were the big ones.
Excellent. Questions for Bonnie? Questions for Ms. Berry?
Mr. Chairman, I had the chance to email Ms. Berry a bunch of questions at shortly after midnight last night when this was received, and we've already had a conversation and had those answered. So I feel comfortable with the answers that she's provided.
Good. Excellent.
Well, I guess, sorry, if I may, Chairman. I did make a change. So I don't know if you remember how we've handled capital in the past. So previously, and this was a conversation I had with Jean yesterday afternoon, evening, on how to handle this, because we have this capital committee now. Previously, all of the capital was split up by each department, and that's how it was approved in the budget resolution. So each department had their own capital budget. And last year we went to all of the capital being in just one line item. So we did that last year. And then this year, after speaking to Jean and how the capital committee wanted to handle this, what we did is each department has a capital budget, but it is just for the small capital items. So it's for the equipment less than 1,500. So we do have an account for equipment less than 1,500. The reason we have that is because we don't tag anything under $1,500. That's our policy. That's our capital policy. If it's under $1,500 and it's capital, it doesn't get tagged. So we have an account for that. But for budget purposes, it does go into capital because if someone were to go out and buy $12,000 computers for their department one year, we want to see that as capital because it does have a useful life of longer than a year. We don't want it going into their budget next year too for something else without being aware of it. Because if it goes into operating, then it would increase their budget. They can easily explain it. And then the next year, if their budget doesn't come back down, the commission may not remember that they bought 12 computers last year for $1,000 a piece. So that's why we have that separated as capital. So it also includes the capital between 1,500 and 10,000. The reason we have that account is because those are items that get tagged. So we do keep track of them, but they don't get depreciated. So that's why we have that account. So those two accounts are in the department's capital. So the department will continue to be charging those, and they have a separate budget for all of their capital between $0 and $10,000. Now, what after speaking to Gene, what he wanted me to do is put all the capital projects and equipment over 10,000, and this also includes the leases too, into one big just dollar amount. And he would like to come before the board and get those items actually approved by the board. Like, this money is for these items. We didn't include it in the resolution. The resolution is a state statute requirement. So I did prefer to have that done separately, just not put it in the state statute requirement and have that done separately. But the plan is probably in July to come forward to the board, the capital committee will, with a list of capital that totals that amount of the 2,350,310, and have that approved by the board. And then moving forward, if there are changes to that, we wouldn't have to do a budget amendment. Like if one of the major capital projects comes in under budget, we can just move down the list or move it to something that's an emergency capital replacement item without a budget amendment. But the plan would be, since that list was approved, to still come before the board and have that approved, not through a budget amendment, just an approval process. So that's the highlight of the changes.
Thank you.
Are there any questions?
Questions for Ms. Berry or comments?
Mr.
Commissioner
Chairman, Ms. Berry, carryover you said would be reduced because of the change in some of the items that were added.
So currently the cash carryover projection is $5,025,489,003. So that's my cash carryover projection that I ran on Tuesday. So yes, that would increase cash carryover because we're not paying for those things.
Yeah.
But that is included in that. But yes, I did that. It'll increase the cash carryover because it was budgeted in fiscal year 22, but then it increases the budget for next year because we added it back in to the budget.
So we're even with that applied to the gap between expenditures and revenue, which was a little over 10 million. We're still about 5 million short approximately.
So if we don't include the cash carryover, just the revenues and the amount approved from ARPA for the capital minus all the expenditures, the shortfall is 5,591,559.
So we're taking like $12 out of reserves.
We're taking about 500,000 out of reserves. It's about 500,000 using all the cash carryover. It's a difference of between $500,000 and $600,000 that we're taking out of reserves to balance.
And we don't have a PILT amount yet.
We don't. So I still anticipate that's coming in, just not for a few days.
Yeah. When you say the PILT amount, it's the regular PILT payment plus the ARPA PILT, right?
I don't think we'll get the ARPA PILT until September.
So we've got the regular amount.
We have the
coming.
regular amount coming in, which was just shy of 3.5 million last year. And so with my projection for cash carryover, I did budget for the same amount. It usually goes up a little bit. So it could come in a little bit higher. I think it's gone up every year. I could be wrong, but it usually just goes up a tiny bit.
Mr. Chairman, Commissioner Wendling.
Anything else, Commissioner Windham?
No, thank you.
Commissioner Lloyd?
Yeah, hey, I'm Commissioner Wendling, and talking to Christina Marshall they're not expecting ARPA bill till after September from her sources for pretty much a definite sure at this point. And there's
Oh,
still,
really?
yeah, that's what I gathered. And if I'm wrong, I'm sure she's watching and she can still send me an email to correct me. But I don't think we're expecting it till after at least September. So if not after,
Okay.
so
But still this fiscal year
the
23.
ARPA bill, yeah,
Okay.
the ARPA bill.
Because
yeah.
I know initially when it was approved, they were supposed to do half of it in their fiscal year 22, which ends September 30th. So I just assumed it would be in September of 2022 and the next half in their fiscal year 23. So I was assuming, which definitely could be wrong, that meant they were going to do it in September of 22 and September of 23. So that does surprise me that they are now not going to do it until after September.
Other questions or comments? Commissioner Shanefield or Commissioner Toman? Anything from you?
No, I'm good. Thank you. Thank you for all your work, Bonnie.
You were off mute, then you went back on mute there, Lauren.
Mr. Chairman, I am good. This is Mary.
We see you, Mary. No.
Thank you.
Was that nothing? Thank you.
Thank you. It's good.
Okay, thank you. All right, we'll get the audio part worked out before we vote. That'll be good. Commissioner Shanefield?
Mr. Chairman, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, I don't have any questions additionally, and I just said thank you, Bonnie, for all your hard work getting the last minute stuff sorted.
Thank you.
Yeah.
All right.
Mr. Chairman, I just got a correction email. Like I said I would. She is expecting it before September. I misunderstood her.
Before the end of September, I think.
I just got before September.
Oh,
Yeah, so with the ARPA build. So
great. Sooner rather than later.
thank you, Christina.
You knew she'd be watching and keeping an eye on you. Then what is, I will make just one comment, and that is, I mean, it's election year and all that, but I truly feel this, as we were discussing this week, it came to my mind that out of all the county employees that we have and every elected official we have, there are 5 people in this entire county that are not getting raises this year or a COLA, and that's us. And I don't know if that's correct or not. I know the hours that all of us put in. I know the amount of time we put in. I know the mileage we drive that we do not, turn in. I know that gas is almost $5 a gallon. I know that our presentation on Tuesday showed us that 9.3% is our inflation rate here in Wyoming. So making that point as certainly, not popular giving yourself a raise. However, I think that we also may be limiting the people that would run or that would fill these seats in the future, maybe as soon as this fall, because of the time commitments that the things that you're asked to do for the amount of money that you're paid. And certainly it's public service, and there's a lot to that, but just wanted to make that point that we took care of everybody but us. And I think that's a little strange. So those are my comments. Anything else before we move on to the resolution? All right. Who would like to do the honors?
Well, we have to open it up.
Oh,
to
that's
the
right.
public
We got to do
first.
a public hearing. Let's do that first. Thank you. I'm ready to move right along. So we will now accept public comments for the fiscal year 2022-2023 budget. Our public comment period is open. Any comments regarding the budget resolution? In that case, we will close the public hearing. And now, what is your pleasure, my fellow commissioners?
Mr. Chairman,
Yes,
I'd like to make a motion that we approve the resolution to provide income necessary to finance the budget for the fiscal year 2022, 2023.
thank you. We have a motion. Do we have a second?
I'll second that.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All those in favor, say aye.
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 Any opposed? Excellent. We have a budget, which we'll tweak a little bit before July 1st with Pill. Any other business to come before the commission? Seeing none, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
I'd move that we adjourn at this point.
Thank you. Do you have a second?
Second.
All those in favor, say aye.
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 Any opposed? This meeting is adjourned. Thank you, Bonnie. Appreciate your time. Thank you, everybody.